say, rock and roll in just the late 50s, 60s, when all the kids, including me, were sort of all James Dean and Elvis and fairly paranoid and violent. And then that part of the trip, that's what happens on acid, folks. Then from there, you start, I don't know, maturing or thinking about the trip. The first effects of the drug wear off, and you start coasting along a bit, and you have time to look at the trees. And that developed into the actual acid scene, the psychedelic bit, you know, and everybody was grooving around with flowers and that. And then, of course, like any drug, it wears off, and you're back to so-called reality. It was like the thing I was saying about it starts with us too. When it started with me, George, Paul, and Ringo, and we said, listen, man, you know, here's another field of professionalism that doesn't need any qualifications except for you've got to get down to it, you know, and want to do it. And you can make it in the terms of the world, the terms of reference they're talking about. You can make it without that pressure of the 11 plus, etc., and GC and all that. And everybody at the same time was finding that out, you know. I mean, I had my guitar, and Mick Jagger had his in London, and Eric Burden was up in Newcastle, and we were all going through the same changes at once. And we all discovered that the values didn't mean a thing, you know, and you could make it without college and education and all those things, you know. It's nice to be able to read and write, but apart from that, I never learned anything worth a damn, you know. Some people sort of discovered a new reality, and some people are still sort of confident about the future. That we too are, you know. Everybody's talking about all the way it's going and the decadence and the rest of it, but nobody's really, not many people are noticing all the good that came out of the last 10 years, which is the moratorium and the vast gathering of people in Woodstock, which is the biggest mass of people ever gathered together for anything other than war. Before, nobody had that big an army that didn't kill somebody or have some kind of, you know, violent scene like the Romans or whatever. And even a Beatle concert was more violent than that, you know, and that was just 50,000. And so the good things that came out were all this vast, peaceful movement, you know. The bully, that's the establishment, they know how to beat people up, they know how to gas them, and they have the arms and the equipment. And the mistake was made that the kids ended up playing their game of violence, you know, and they know how to be violent. They've been running it on violence for 2,000 years or a million or whatever it is. And nobody can tell me that violence is the way after all that time, you know. There must be another way, but a lot of people fell for it. And it's understandable in a way, because when the bully's actually right there, it's pretty hard to say, turn the other cheek, baby. When we were in touch with the Berkeley kids during that, whatever was going on, we were peacefully doing our peace demonstration in Montreal bed. And then we suddenly were connected by phone directly to them, you know. And they were saying, help us, you know, or what are we going to do? It's going to go wrong, you know. And this was some of the people who were organising it, but they were saying, well, it's out of our control and that. And what can we say, you know? And of course, I haven't got any solution.
Okay. Listen, there's no park worth losing your life for. You know, I don't believe in anything else, and I don't believe there's any park or anything worth getting shot for. And you can do better by moving on to another city or going to Canada or go anywhere. And then they've got nothing to attack and nobody to point a finger at.
Well, right now, the situation we have here, what I'd like to know is, John and Yoko, what would you do right now? You have 20,000 people or so outside, sitting there. You tell them that they should leave, or should they like have a festival, or what?
A festival is more like it, man. You know, sing Hare Krishna or something, but don't move about if it aggravates the pig.
And don't worry if it works or not. Everything works if you believe in it.
And don't get hassled by the cops and don't play their game.
If you can't have a beautiful time there, then don't have it and stay at home in bed.
I know it's hard, you know. Christ, you know it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be, man. But it is hard. So what? Everything's hard. It's going to be hard tomorrow, and it's going to be hard the next day. So what? It's better to have it hard than not have it at all. And if those squares can sell 1 can of soap to the housewife, so can you.
The only way to get them understand you is to extend your hand and really try to open their minds up and try to give you love, you know. That's the only way that they'll come around.
Entice them and calm them. You know, you've got the brains and you can do it. What? You can make it, man. We can make it together. We can get it together. We can get it together. Now that's all.
Anybody who's been in the drug scene, it's not something you can go on and on doing, you know. It's like drink or anything. You've got to come to terms with it. You know, like too much food or too much anything. So you've got to get out of it. You're left with yourself all the time, whatever you do. You know, meditation, drugs, anything. You know. But you've got to get down to your own God and your own temple in your head, like Donovan says, etc. And it's all down to yourself, you know. So it's like, and for peace or anything, it's all down to this relationship. To work on this relationship with Yoko is very hard, and we've got the gift of love, you know. But love is like a precious plant, you know. You can't just accept it and leave it in the cupboard or just think it's going to get on with itself, or like a pet, you know. That's Desmond. And, you've got to keep watering it, you know. You've got to really look after it. And love, you have to water and be careful of it and keep the flies off and see that it's all right and nurture it, you know. And to get a relationship between two people is the start. And then if we two can make it, maybe we can make it with you. You know, and from maybe us 4, you and yours, can make it with the next 4. And it's only that. There's no sort of answer. Full of optimism because of the contacts I've made personally throughout the world, including yourself, you know, whether it was on seeing you on TV or whatever, knowing that there's other people around who I can get on, you know, agree with, you know, and I'm not insane, I'm not alone, you know. I've met. That's just on a personal level. And of course, the Woodstock, Isle of Wight, all the mass meetings of the youth is completely positive for me. And the fact that now we're all getting to know, we're always showing our flags, you know. And when you show your flag, you're not alone, you know. It's like we don't need to be a few Christian martyrs, because there's lots of us. And don't be afraid, because they do look after you, whoever's up there, you know, if you get on with it. And I'm completely positive. And when I'm negative, I've got Yoko, who is just as strong as me, and it helps, you know. And this is only the beginning. This 60s bit was just a sniff. The 60s was just waking up in the morning, you know. And we haven't even got to dinner time yet. And I can't wait, you know. I just can't wait. I'm so glad to be around. And it's just going to be great, and there's going to be more and more of us, and whatever you're thinking there, Mrs. Grundy of South Birmingham on toast, you know, you don't stand a chance. A, you're not going to be there when we're running it, and B, you're going to like it when you get less frightened of it, you know, and it's going to be wonderful, and I believe it. And of course we all get depressed and down about it, but when I'm down, or when John and Yoko's down, Desmond will be up, or somebody else will be up. There's always somebody carrying the flag and beating the drum, you know. So they, whoever they are, don't stand a chance, because they can't beat love, because all those old bits from religion and that about love being all-powerful is true, you know. And that's the bit they can't do, you know, they can't handle it.